Hello, and welcome to Gundam Evolution. Now, I haven't streamed this game in a while, but that doesn't mean I have not been playing it for a while either. Uh, so as we search for a game, this may or may not take a while. Gundam Evolution was a game I had wanted to stream for a bit, but I never really got around to doing it. I mean, I did stream it in the past. I think my last stream of it was a couple months ago, but now, with the announcement that the end is nigh, I thought I might as well show the game a bit more respect and stream it a couple more times before it finally passes. Because there's only gonna be 2 seasons after this one. After that, nothing new will be coming. The game kind of flopped, and I don't blame the developers, I blame their publisher. Because every time Bandai gets their hands on some Gundam IP, they somehow manage to flop with it, I should say. But that doesn't mean not all games are bad. It's just that a good chunk of them are mid or handled very poorly. Yeah, poorly, like in the case of this one. This one had a ton of potential, in my opinion, but well, that potential is never fully realized due to the monetization mostly, and the lack of content, along with probably one of the most annoying ways of grinding currency, which is probably through the battle pass. But that's like the only way of like unlocking units, and you couldn't unlock all the units in the game unless you decided to spend money on the game. But I still saw a ton of potential, and so did the developers, which is why they probably kept on working on it till now. But even if the game is gonna end, it's not like, well, it's the end of the world or anything for this game. At the very least, I would like to give props to the devs for trying to make the game, well, fun for anybody, any of its remaining users, potentially any new users it gains over like what, this 3-4 month period that it's gonna be alive for, maybe like 5-6. But I don't even know if it's gonna make it to its like 1 year anniversary. But what I do know is that they do plan on adding more ways for you to earn the in-game currency to get more, well, playability out of the game by allowing you to unlock more things for free. I think in the future they planned on removing most of the paid content, which is, well, yeah, it's a step, alright. At the end of the day, I still feel kind of sad about this game because it was one of the first few games I did stream on my channel, like pretty early on. I mean, the stream qualities are terrible then, but the game was still fun. So over time, I really burnt myself out on this game, especially after grinding season after season for the battle passes, because I did spend money to purchase the premium pass. So each season, I would essentially play daily until I fully unlocked everything from the pass, and then just stop playing until the next season, because the way they did challenges like before this season was atrocious. Like you had to play specific units just to even qualify for some of the challenges. Now you can just kind of crank out these daily challenges and missions in like a couple games at most. Except for the win ones. If you gotta win something, good luck. But what else did I have to say? I do like that change. It definitely helps with player burnout, because before, if you wanted to keep up with some challenges, or if you got really unlucky, you'd essentially have to play like several hours a day at least. Like once I was unlucky enough to have to do the same mission 3 different times. This one mission requiring you to play at least, I want to say, 15 to 20 games, like an average of 15 to 20 games including varying performances in those games, in order to complete. So that's like what 60 games in a week, all being forced to play certain units, which is not fun. That really burns you out. But this time around, the challenges are much easier since you can just play anything, and also because of that, the challenges don't overlap with one another as easily, which is a godsend, honestly, because holy shit, you can just complete so many challenges in like 1 or 2 games, like especially weeklies. Depending on the weekly ones, you can usually get them done in like one, like even like what a day, a game, or 1 game to 1 day's worth of gameplay if you're dedicated enough. Especially the one requiring you to get 30 kills because assists count towards that kill count. So that one is stupid easy to do, honestly. Like that's a free weekly mission done, free level of the battle pass each week. But yeah, as you can see from how long it's taken us to search for a game, there's not many players left. I want to say there's only like a couple hundred left in NA at most. And it's not like they're all going to be around at the same time, like online at the same time. I mean, probably in Japan, on the Japanese servers, it's probably a lot more active. But in North America, where I usually play, yeah, the game is it's kind of quiet, gotta say. Well, it has been a while since I last streamed, so uh today I plan on mostly playing Marsai. Let's see. Marsai is the main hook unit in this game. If you want to see how many hook or CC units that have an ability similar to a hook there is in this game, there's like what, maybe 2 at most, and the second one is you can it's arguable that it's even a hook. Like you really have to stretch the definition of a hook to call the second unit a hook unit. Because Marasai is a dedicated hook unit, you know? With his abilities, you got the ensnare. You shoot it out, it hits something, it pull it in for close quarters. But what I do like compared about Marasai compared to other hook units in other games is that he's like close to mid range based. He doesn't have like many close range options aside from, you know, shooting your opponent in the head. Or the beam blade, which extends the stun from the hook, which is kind of busted, honestly. The ensnare beam blade, then 2 headshots will pretty much kill anybody, you know, one combo. The other hook unit that I would call a hook, well, is the turn A and its overhead throw. You could technically call it a very short hook, but you know, it is very good at stun locking. Okay, now at this point, it's less of a hook unit, more of a CC unit. But I really do like. All right, I feel like the overhead throw doesn't mesh well with its kit, but because with the turn A, at least the way I usually play and how I see most others play, you use the beam rifle's charge more than anything else, just to abuse the fact that it has no damage fall off. Meaning you play as a mid to long range sniper, trying to out-snipe enemies. The overhead throw is, well, it's useful in that it gives you super armor, so you take half damage and are immune to CC. But you really have to time that. And it's on a long-ass cooldown, which, you know, pretty much all of turn A's abilities are on long-ass cooldown. And, its range is terrible. You have a short dash and wind up, allowing enemies to dodge it pretty easily, if they're paying attention at least. So pretty much the only time it'll work is if you force out all your opponent's movement options and know that they can't really do much else while being in close quarters, because close quarters is honestly not where turn A thrives. But that doesn't stop me from bringing him in there and trying my best to abuse overhead throw, because if you lined up right, you could do almost as much damage as the Mars side to some targets. Which I mean, turn A does of course beat out a Mars side in long range combat because, you know, turn A no damage fall off. But uh I've played turn A so much. I love this thing, but I cannot deny it has its moments where I wish I was another suit. Honestly, I wouldn't like I wish they kind of gave turn A the Gundam hammer, the hyper hammer that Gundam has, because you know turn A also has technically has access to that lore wise. That would definitely mesh a lot better than the overhead throw, at least when it comes to damage. Not many people use the overhead throw for utility, which is what I feel like you really need to like abuse in order to fully master turn A. Because holy shit, turn A is not very survivable, even with well, it's got average HP. The overhead throw is its only defensive option. Okay, never mind. No, nano skin is the other defensive option. Overhead throws probably better as a defensive option rather than an offensive option, unless you really know how to force your opponents into those situations. And nano skin barely repairs that much, honestly. Like the healing rate of it is pretty low. I mean, it does help. And like it basically gives you as much health as a small health pack. So around like I want to say 400 to 500 over time, but you really need to know when to use it because it certainly can be annoying, but in many cases it feels really useless because your opponents just outburst you. Speaking of burst, he doesn't turn A, in my opinion, doesn't have much burst damage. You really need to abuse the consistency of the beam rifle, which makes it the TTK for turn A relatively low if you don't, if you can't aim. Like even if you do aim, it takes 3 charge shots, which is around like, well, I want to say 3-ish seconds. It takes two charge shots on a low health enemy, 3 to 4 on pretty much anything else. Those shots take, I want to say, around a second to charge up each time, and that is with perfect timing for charging and firing. So, I mean, the headshot certainly does decent damage. It can do like half a unit's health if you land it, but well, it just still feels so underwhelming. Especially compared to something like Gundam, which can pretty much 2 to 3 shot people with full combo. Whereas turn A takes an extra step in that combo. Like with Gundam, all you need to know is just throw hammer if it hits, headshot, and if it doesn't die after that, head or body shot and it dies. With turn A, even after a throw, one headshot is not enough to finish your opponent. Usually you're gonna need another one, or or a quick body after as well. Because I find a good chunk of enemies manage to survive a throw headshot combo. I mean, it does stun lock them for a while, but oh, game found. That took so long. Oh boy, it's in Buried City. They did change the way this map works. Oh, this game mode works, I should say. Because when it was originally introduced, this game mode was so long. Like you had to play through 5 rounds with one. Well, you had to play a 5 point round where each objective completed from your team is equivalent to 1 point. Now it's down to a 3 point round, so you don't have to play like extra games. Well, too many extra games. Because oh boy, this game mode was long as hell. Like one game of this, before it was updated this season, was I want to estimate was probably around what maybe around 3 to 4 times longer than a normal game.
Capture the target area to expose the enemy's core, then attack and destroy the core. The mission is about to begin. All
All right,
units
let's see
prepare to
here.
Standing by and ready to sortie.
Let's give them a nice surprise.
Oh, oh, that's where that was. What the hell is that there?
Preparations complete. Pilots, begin your assault.
Target confirmed. Let the battle begin.
I do find this game mode very interesting. I don't really see many other like games have this game mode. I mean, it starts off as point defense, and then it moves on to objective destruction, or DPS check based one. Oh shit. Ow. I don't have the health to contest that. I think my team is dead, yeah. Can't deal with shields too well with Marseille.
Redeploying.
I think the main weakness of the Marseille is that it just can't deal with shields. Like, its only option against shields is either to just shoot it down or the beam blade, but the beam blade only does like, well, I want to say around 200 damage, which will only kill enemies if they're low. Shit. Yeah. And, what was it? The hook is blocked by shields, which is very annoying, seeing how they have 2 shields on their team right now.
An ally's mobile suit has been destroyed.
This ain't looking too good. I think they're oh, wait. I'm pretty sure they are probably gonna get it, especially since we're unorganized right now. I'm pretty sure this is a loss. We are just way too unorganized. Oh, at least it's only game 1.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Objective contested.
Hostile down.
Capturing the area.
That might have been a bit of a kill steal.
Captured. Maintain control of this location until all areas are under our control.
I do also need some time to warm up. Okay. Well, that hurts.
1 minute remaining.
There goes my hook.
Capture progress at 50%.
I'm so glad so many of us suck right now. Oh shit. Yeah, they're probably gonna get this first point here. I don't think we can contest too easily.
Extension acknowledged. We'll get the job done.
Yeah, I know.
Hostiles have captured the area.
Alright, this part, it is a DPS check. Oh, shoot.
They won't get me this time.
The enemy's using a G maneuver. Found an enemy unit.
Okay, G maneuver gun down. Oh, come on. I definitely landed that hook. Oh shit. He's coming. Oh. Will I get a revive? Yes, I will. Okay. I need to help out New over here. New's gonna die soon. Let's see here. Oh shit, New's dead. Oh, I should have Sea Snake there. I should have ulted. Alright, got rid of the super napalm.
Look good. Hostile down.
God, how am I still alive?
1 minute remaining.
Let's see, Barbie over here. That's okay, he almost got, Alright, New Gundam will need some help on the defense, since he's pretty low. Actually, no, he's probably healed up by now. Well, oh god, I'm missing so often.
Hostile down.
I also need to just pop this before it's too late.
What's the record again?
I don't think they can get it. They really gotta grind hard for
We'll get the job done.
honestly, I think I went around just kind of kill stealing by accident there. Oh, which is my favorite? My favorite from this game, honestly, it's hard for me to say. If we're speaking specifically Gundams, then well, most consistent one is probably the OG Gundam, because well, he's got pretty much a kit to deal with any situation. Like, you got the beam rifle is incredibly consistent, which I love. The hammer pretty much works against anybody, no matter who they are. If they get hit by that thing, they're kind of screwed. Like, you win pretty much any trade or 1v1 if you land hammer.
Ready to proceed.
And the shield is just nice to have. The napalm is meh. You really need to know how to deploy it, otherwise it's pretty easy to gun down. But aside from that, the original Gundam is probably the most consistent unit in this game. If we're just talking Gundams in general, probably my favorite one would, I want to say, design-wise, probably the Zeta, which is probably gonna, the Zeta is being added next season, which I'm probably gonna get, just to, like, to have fun with. But, let's see, I want to say Zeta or F91 are some of my favorite designs. If we're just talking mobile suits in general in this game,
Area captured. Maintain control of this location until all areas are
I did like playing Sazabi for a while until they nerfed him, I think, this season. Which I find the nerf, for the most part, doesn't affect him too much. But there are certainly situations where I wish he didn't have the nerf, because enemies survive with slivers of health where they wouldn't have before this. Oh, Barbados is also a nice design. Like, well, I find most people don't like the design of the Barbados, especially some of the OG fans at first. But personally, for me, I do like its proportions, even if it is relatively unrealistic. It definitely looks a lot more animalistic compared to other Gundams. It's gonna be hard for us to take this point here. They just kind of overswarmed it. We are not grouping up enough, honestly, at this point. I do remember one of my favorite Gundams when I was younger was the Heavy Arms, just because Wing was like, one of the first series I got into.
That enemy unit has a shield.
Area now entering open.
But
They won't get
if I had to choose one of my favorite mobile suits in general, it has to be the Tall Geese.
The enemy's using an area G maneuver.
I don't know what it is about the Tall Geese,
The enemy's activated their
but I am in love with its design, especially some of its other iterations, like the Flugel or the Tall Geese 3. I screwed up there. I think I should have just stayed on point.
They won't
Yeah, they're probably gonna get this. Half the team's dead.
Hostiles have captured the area. Our
I
course
think we might be able to hold them off over here again, but well, I currently suck because I just like woke up a bit ago, so I still need some warming up. But you know, I do plan on playing a couple games, so no big loss if we do lose. Ooh, I have no idea how that Dunamis managed to avoid that stun.
shield on that bogey. Bogey spotted.
Damn, I got no defensive options there. I'm probably playing way too aggressively for a warm-up, honestly.
redeploy. Evacuate the area at once.
the entire
Nothing gets in the way of this mission.
And down they go.
Okay. Downside of getting a team kill like that is that it's pretty easy for them to regroup since they don't have to coordinate their respawns, which is a thing you will always need to worry about in multiplayer lobbies, especially with randos. My team is doing pretty good, at least solo-wise, but we're not very good at coordinating. And I just absolutely suck right now. Yeah.
we've been defeated.
That's the first game.
Awaiting further orders.
We will have our revenge.
Time to wait another eternity while another game is gonna be queued up. Speaking of Iron-Blooded. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, the game is pretty fun. I mean, you still have a couple months to play it if you haven't played it yet. It's just that depending on where you are, queue times are gonna be atrocious. If you want a faster queue, you could always try playing in Japan, like on the Japanese servers. But well, the Japanese servers, you're gonna need pretty good internet. You're probably still gonna have high ping there. Oh boy, if you're in EU, yeah, good luck, honestly. The queue times for EU, I don't know how bad they are. I am currently playing in North American servers, where it's gonna take like, what, maybe 5-10 minutes, depending on like the time and when people get on. But I still feel like you have plenty of time to play to your heart's content, since you can pretty much just, well, a good chunk of the base units are usable, and any of the unlockable units, they are just there to fill in niches, in my opinion. But I definitely felt like the game's potential was a bit squandered, especially with how they decided to release the thing. Like, it was region locked for so long at the beginning. Like, there are so many places that they were unable to get servers to. Till I think the second or third season, but even then, there's still a ton of places in the world that don't have access to the game. But it's basically, at this point, it's just a Gundam themed hero shooter.
Select the suit
Like, there isn't really anything that makes the mech stand out as how they would canonically, which I wish there was more of. Like, I wish there was some more perhaps more abilities or more weapons that you can use with each of the suits.
Your goal is to capture the target waypoints. The mission is about to begin.
Almost like in Battle Operations 2.
Standing by and ready to sortie.
Battle Operations 2 was, well, at least its PC launch was atrocious as well. Like, pretty much you could never find a game because you would always keep on getting kicked from the search,
Begin your assault.
which, I mean, occasionally happens nowadays on the PC version, but especially at the beginning, I would be in queue for like maybe 20 minutes before I could find a single game. Like, or at least try to queue up for 20 minutes before the queue finally starts to work
One flying unit down.
Second elimination confirmed.
and gives me a game. If I'm lucky. Nowadays, it's a lot better. Oh god. I still suck so much at aiming.
Nice work.
Area captured. Enemy unit destroyed. Reloading.
But with Battle Operations 2, I find it a lot more fun in some cases as Gundam Evolution. It is much slower pace, of course. Oh, that grenade is annoying. It's much slower paced, but there are hundreds of suits in there, and each one has a relatively unique loadout, which I just find fun to use.
Target
I mean, there are the game's mechanics themselves can be annoying, especially with how slow-paced everything is. But I personally enjoy it quite a bit, and I can look past the atrocious matchmaking. But I know a lot of other people, that's like a deal breaker for them. For me personally, I don't mind it too much. I mean, matchmaking is also bad here, but it isn't as bad as in Battle Operations. In Battle Operations, even if you get into the lobby, sometimes the game kind of glitches and the lobby doesn't properly fill. Oh, yeah, I can't block his ult.
An allied mobile suit's been destroyed.
My team right now is also pretty uncoordinated.
3 minutes remaining.
Okay. Okay, this might be a bit better. We got like 5 people here. So perhaps this, maybe, if we're lucky. Oh, come on. The turret blocked my killing shot on him. Ah, and I whiffed. I whiffed the hammer. If I hit that, that guy would be dead. I mean, yeah, install it, see if you like the game or not. If you don't like it, you know, there's always hundreds of other games out there for you. It may or may not be for you. I mean, I personally found it fun, and I invested money into the game. So I am much more incentivized to play it compared to others. Well, it's not necessarily incentivized, it's more like a sunken cost fallacy reason. I kind of got cornered there. Oh, he almost got the ballsy revive off.
They won't get me this time.
Area contested.
Oh yeah, no, Armored Core 6. I cannot wait for that game to come out. I already pre-ordered it. How did that not hit? That was point blank. I can't wait to get my hands on it and play it. I pre-ordered the digital deluxe because like that. I just I am a huge fan of the Armored Core series and Armored Core like games.
Use caution.
1 minute remaining.
Because I've been looking for a series similar to Armored Core, and I just can't find it elsewhere.
They've discovered my position.
Uh,
30 seconds.
like normally I don't spend too much. I don't want to spend too much money on games, but I just couldn't resist Armored Core. I feel like it's gonna be worth it.
My G maneuver.
Oh, that gun tank escaped somehow. He's coming in from this angle. Oh. Gonna be hard to find. I was gonna say it's hard to find a decent angle to get in there, but
Your teammate's performance is exceptional. Fight for control of the target area. Fight for control of the target area. Round complete.
for me, the main draw of the Armored Core games is the customization. Like I treat it almost like a sandbox when it comes to mechs. Because you have so many things you can build, like so many different builds and playstyles in Armored Core, which I just can't wait to try out.
Mission confirmed. Exiting launch bay.
Tactical says you're doing well.
Understood. Ready to proceed.
Copy that.
If I had some more money, I'd probably also spend more time making more custom physical gunpla builds as well. Speaking of which, combining the two,
The enemy
I have had some plans on building a physical. I've had some plans to build some physical gunpla, based off of Armored Core. Like using some grunt kits as a base from Gundam. Oh, whoops, wrong button. I fat fingered that. I want to try build an Armored Core based mech out of from plastic.
Redeploy.
I think I do have most of the I do have most of the kits I need to kit bash it already. Just I need to find the time to do it. I should have used my shield there. I probably still wouldn't have survived, but I probably still should have used it. I am probably way too addicted to building plastic model kits. I think I want to say my addiction was probably due to Legos when I was younger. That chakram could probably go through shield now that I think about it. I've always been really into Legos when I was younger, but that's probably where my model kit addiction grew from. Nothing I can do about a flank like that. I feel like I just really like details and intricacies of some of the kits that I can get my hands on. Like I am too lazy to do like you know Tamiya, like some of the more realistic army vehicle kits where you gotta like cut out everything, paint it all. Where the hell was I throwing that? I can't escape them. They are absolutely everywhere. Once I whiff everything, it can't do much. Painting models is really annoying in my opinion. But, depending on what method you use. You know, you got your traditional way of just using primer, paint, then top coat, which can be tedious, but it even leads to some amazing looking models. Then you could also just do the lazy method, which just uses a ton of markers. And I mean, there are some good markers out there for it. Like, for example, Gundam markers are specifically made for painting that way. And I have made some, oh god, Warhammer figures. Don't even get me started on that. Warhammer figures are honestly way too expensive for me to get into. I mean, my friend kind of wants to, but honestly, I think he's mostly just in there for the painting aspect and just trying to find something to do. Oh, how'd I whiff all that? Oh, did not get triggered. That's a waste. I personally, depending on the model kit, painting them can be a lot easier than something like small miniatures. Just, well, firstly, due to having a much larger surface to work on. mean, you can use like larger tools and make the painting process much quicker, depending on your commitment. But what else was there? I want to say painting with markers is pretty easy as well. Like you have specific Gundam markers that you can use to get most of the colors that you want pretty easily. I mean, they are a bit runny. Yeah, it is very much a rabbit hole, a money sink. Like, ever since I got into it, my wall... I'm running out of wall to put up stuff on. It is really addictive. Which is also why I don't want to get into miniature painting, because I'm out of space to put them. And I don't have the space for any workstations anymore. I mean, I would probably love it, and I'd probably spend way too much time on it, but that's exactly why I don't want to try to get into it. At least not yet. I mean, also, depending on the model kit, you already have a ton of intricate details. But, yeah, paint certainly does add an extra layer to it. Although I probably also don't have a steady enough hand to even get some of the details I want. Or a creative enough mind to get the visions I want. Usually for me, if I want to customize something, like from head to toe, like a full custom build, it takes a really long time for me to think up of an idea of what to do with it. And then it takes even longer for me to commit to it. Well, unless it is sporadic. If it's something impulsive and sporadic, sometimes I just listen to the voices in my head. And then future me has to deal with the regret of that. But, you know. It's a very fun hobby, but it is very much a rabbit hole, as you said. And I am currently in way too many rabbit holes. I think before Gunpla, I was also into card games. And my god, did I spend a lot on card games. Until the card shop I went to, well, I learned they kicked out one of, well, it was, this one card shop I went to before, they had like 3 different card shops specializing in 3 different card games. You got Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! But I think the main owners of the card shop there, I think the Yu-Gi-Oh! Guys, kicked out the guy who was selling Magic due to some disagreements. And I kind of stopped going there because I think they kind of scammed me out of a couple cards here and there. So did some of the guys from Pokemon. They scammed one of my friends on one of his cards. So I just stopped going there. I stopped supporting their business. But the guy who was selling Magic, he managed to open up a shop recently. I think I went there with my friends a couple days ago. He did plan on expanding what he sold to include some Yu-Gi-Oh! So I was also thinking of selling some of my cards to him to help him get started because I don't really play too much Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays. I am not into the meta at all. I haven't kept up with the meta in months. But my god. I remember what the meta was like when I was in it. It was hell. I cannot guarantee that it hasn't gotten worse now, which is why I slowly transitioned to playing some of the older formats. I think the format I played the most, out of the older formats, I think the one I played the most was Edison. But I've also been kind of looking to get into the hat format. Oh, GOAT format. I feel my main issue with the GOAT format is I personally wasn't really into early Yu-Gi-Oh! Like GOAT format is around I think 2004. Edison is based around 2010, and Hat is based around 2013. And personally, I prefer the Edison and Hat format over GOAT because my main issue with the GOAT format is that a ton of the decks there just look pretty much identical to one another with very little tweaks. You basically just have the same strategies going around. which I find can get really boring.
Select the suit you wish to pilot.
The other rabbit hole I am very much deep into is, well, again, is airsoft. I probably spent way too much money on airsoft within the last couple weeks just trying to get back into the hobby. Because, well,
Defend the target location.
I wanted to get into it pre-COVID, but like I've already played a couple fields. But then once I got like a beginner kit from one of my friends, because he basically sold his gear to me. Well, you know, the COVID hit. I barely got to play much. But now that it's slowly dying down again, I did sell off the old kit so I can buy a much newer, more reliable kit. Because the issue with my friend's old stuff was some of that stuff did not work too well. Airsoft is fun, though. I mean, alright, there are certainly some communities out there that, well, they are very... I can't tell if they're passionate or if they're just assholes, but there's certainly assholes in every hobby. But there's also many others who are very nice.
They discovered my position.
That guy's probably gonna get revived, yeah. But airsoft is at least a good way of getting me to exercise because I am a couch potato. And I probably need to exercise a lot more. But it is, again, very fun. If I can find anything like airsoft to motivate me to do something, I'm gonna take that opportunity and do it to improve myself as an excuse.
Suit has been destroyed. The enemy is capturing 3 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I think once this first point is taken, well, once the enemy has a presence on this first point, it is so difficult to peel them off. Honestly, most of the time I just see people give it up, which is valid, because there's pretty much no cover on the way there, and you're just kind of, as defenders, you're just kind of forced to fight in a choke.
Enemy as soon as possible.
The second point on this map is much easier to defend.
The enemy has captured objective A.
God, I can't see shit through that. That was a terrible time for me to reload. Good lord. I did, when I was much younger, I did want to get into paintball. Then as I grew older, I was much more conscious about what I wanted out of a sport and what something would do to me. I do not want to feel the pain from paintball, so I felt less pain from playing airsoft. I don't want to deal with the bruises. Instead, I'll deal with the painful welts that airsoft gives me. I find paintball a lot more taxing, well, based on what I've seen, compared to how some people play airsoft. With paintball, you have to be so aggressive, which is only reflected in the speedsoft community for airsoft. Like for me, I am much more of a casual player. I don't think I would like milsim since I hate going outside too much. I mean, I already hate camping because I was forced to go camping a ton when I was younger. But, well, milsim is kind of extreme. Speedsoft is also too extreme. I just can't handle that. It's a lot faster than milsim, but, you know, Speedsoft, you're just gonna be running around and sliding like a maniac. You have to be incredibly athletic to do that, which I just can't do. Oh, I was gonna say how is it still alive, but I'm no longer alive. Milsim is the other end of the spectrum, where it's just way too. For me, it's a bit too demanding for my liking. Like in a different way, less of well, athletics wise, more of endurance wise, because you're gonna be away for multiple days to like perhaps sometimes weeks out in the wilderness, just essentially camping but with guns. Which for me is a bit too stressful, and I don't like going too far away from my PC, so that's just my personal preference. For me, the middle ground is probably best, just casually going to indoor and outdoor fields whenever I want to.
Launch bay.
You're doing fine, pilot. Keep it
But that also still means I need to exercise a lot more to not feel sore, to not get sore muscles after each session. 'Cause every time I go play airsoft, I always have back pain for a couple days because I end up hunched over for a good chunk of the day. I mean, it's still fun, but the back pain is very annoying to deal with. I probably need to stretch a lot more before going, honestly. That'd probably help alleviate it a bit, but aside from that, I don't know. I don't really know what else I can do other than just, play some more and get used to it. I was thinking about getting some new optics for my rifle, but zeroing optics is a pain in the ass to do, and it takes so long, especially with airsoft. Because once you zero an optic, that optic is only going to be zeroed for a certain range due to how hard those babies drop. I mean, you still can use a pre-zeroed optic just for, having a better view of your target compared to like iron sights, but it's still fairly annoying to do to zero the damn thing. If it's fun, it's worth it. Yeah. If I'm honestly, I just use fun to incentivize a ton of the things I do. Like, if I have to exercise, it better be fun,
3 minutes remaining.
Yeah, if I have to study, I'd rather study on something I'm really into. Otherwise, my brain just kinda shits itself and it just gets really unproductive. I always try to use fun as an incentive for myself to do anything. But then whenever I'm bored, a lot more things become fun, let's just say.
Capturing the objective.
Stunned.
Things are going well. All troops, press the advantage. Capturing the objective.
I did not realize the sniper had already shot a revive on the guy.
Redeploying.
If it's fun, I'm gonna do something. If it isn't, then I find little incentive to do it. Of course. But if it leads to fun, perhaps that is a bit of an incentive. Oof.
Here it comes. Let's finish them off.
Taking us so long just to take this one point. My goodness.
3 minutes remaining.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna lose this game, but I'm probably just gonna play it through. Just cause why not? And it's not like I wanna quit either. Oh shit, that's a G maneuver. Oh, that's his last volley.
That shield won't help. G maneuver armed and ready.
Allied unit down.
Raised me. Try this on my side. Use caution. I'm reloading.
I don't know how I managed to snipe that.
Have it your way. Enemy brawler neutralized. They discovered my position. Hostile sniper destroyed.
If that guy didn't have a shield, that I wouldn't have, what was it? I would probably have, oh, come on. I would have a much easier time, dealing with them. Maybe I should have tried to hook the guy after me. Whenever I do something like this, I always see it through, even if it is my fault. Okay, there we go. I am surprised I managed to get over that. Usually that ledge right there is... Oh, shit. Incredibly difficult to get over, even with that jump pad placement. Because you have like this tiny little pixel that can sometimes stop you.
Talk about a rough mission. Here it comes. Evasive maneuvers. One flying unit down. Enemy unit destroyed. Locked on. Try this on my side. Enemy brawler neutralized.
Oh, he ain't stopping anybody.
Here it comes.
30 seconds left in the mission. We're losing the objective.
It's almost over.
Pretty sure this is GG though. Oh shit, especially since he...
My location.
Allies in rare form. 10 seconds remaining.
G unit ready. Hit them hard.
I'd probably get on this.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh shit! Alright, oh, we were so close there.
We've been
Well,
defeated.
at least I made a cool play at the end. That was all in vain. Is this the guy from last game? Yeah, he is. This time he was on our team, but I guess it wasn't enough. Oh, probably got time for one more. Game is still fun at the end of the day. It's just not many people are left playing it. But I do have to say, some of the suits in this game definitely inspire me to try and get the model kits for them. Because I think specifically, probably, let's see. Out of all these suits, I think the one suit that really made me want to get a model kit for was the Methis, which is currently on my wall in the back. Like, I don't know why, but for some reason, Methis made, like, I used to play a ton of Methis, and it eventually made me want to get the physical suit, like, as a model kit. Downside is the model kit is old as hell, and honestly doesn't really hold up too well. I mean, it works as a figure to an extent, but you can definitely see the age in it. Another one that I did want to get at one point was the Ashmar, which I still kind of do. Because even if the Ashmar is around the same age as the Methis, the Ashmar does hold up a bit better due to a more simplistic design in comparison to the Methis. Even if that might be stretching the definition of simplistic a bit. Well, its transformation seems to be much easier to do, which is why it holds up better than the Methis. Because the Methis, I think, the main issue with it is that its main waist is being held up by like two pegs, pretty much. Like, two sticks. It's just a spindly little stick being held together, like with some armor added on. Most of it is hollow. Oh, I mean, most of Ashmar's probably also hollow, like the model kit at least. But its transformation is much easier to pull off without putting too much stress on the actual kit itself. Because, you know, pretty much all that happens is the arms fold in, the shoulders fold in, the head rotates, and there you go, you have a transformation. The legs just kind of pop to the back. I think the hip moves up a bit, but the legs definitely move. All they do is just slide up against the body. That's about it. I think for Methis you do have something similar, but it's just the fact that everything is held together by two joints, which makes it a bit precarious. And also the hands are old as hell and cannot hold anything. Nothing is made to fit it. Oh, I do. Okay, so if you're saying just the Gushin, are you talking about the its first appearance or its rebake? Because the rebake I do like. I kind of want to get my hands on it. I have the remake full city up on my wall out of frame, but I would also like to get my hands on the original Gushin because it's just a fat frog with a hammer, and I kind of want one. Speaking of which, all the Iron-Blooded kits are compatible with one another, making them amazing for kit bashes, honestly. They hold up relatively well. My only issue with them is that their polycaps and joints can wear down pretty heavily over time, depending on what kind of build you get. Ah, yes, the dwarf with a hammer. Perhaps a slightly oversized dwarf, but a dwarf nonetheless.
Construction mission.
I could see a really good paint job happening with it, though, to make it much more dwarf-like.
Select the suit you wish to pilot.
Let's see, on this map it is... I don't think you need a sniper, but a sniper certainly helps, unless your team is aggressive enough. Let's see, what do we got? What's our lineup? Okay, we do have a sniper.
The mission is about to begin.
Mission confirmed. Exiting launch bay.
Let's see. I'm curious on what their team comp is. They're probably also gonna have a sniper. Oh. Oh god. I remember playing a couple dwarves myself in D&D. Personally, if most of the classes I play are, I want to say casters, just because I like the versatility of casters in D&D. But my friends and I also find the format of D&D pretty limiting, So we have been playing a lot more homebrew, and also been looking towards Pathfinder for perhaps a couple of expansions. Most of the time we don't really play vanilla D&D. But still still fun nonetheless.
The enemy has captured the waypoint.
Hostile down. Enemy flyer destroyed.
Second elimination confirmed. We've successfully captured the waypoint.
But if every time I don't play a caster, I usually just I want to say I just play a tank, either fighter or barbarian.
Activating the mega charge here. Activating the mega charge here.
Mega charge countdown has begun. Defend mega charge set at objective B. Remember, disarming the mega charge.
Enemy flyer destroyed. There's an enemy unit being revived.
3 minutes
I think there's some guy down here. Okay, that Barbados is down. Speaking of Barbados, I do kind of wish they released some of his other forms in Master Grade, because they already have the Gundam frame. Like the basic Gundam frame out, but oh. Well, mages are fun, but yeah, they're certainly annoying to deal with.
Select the suit you wish to pilot. One objective remains.
I think for mages, most of the time I end up playing Sorcerer because I find, well, wizards are alright. I find that I just like the versatility and the tomfoolery I can pull off with Sorcerer.
Barely a scratch.
If I do ever play a fighter or barbarian, I just go full tank.
Enemy flyer.
Just max out Constitution and become a meat shield. I don't know why I enjoy that playstyle.
This doesn't look good.
Area contested.
Armed and ready. Enemy brawler neutralized.
Enemy achievement.
Let's see here. I do kind of wish they released more forms of Barbados. Like either the Lupus or Lupus Rex would be really nice to have in Master Grade. Oh, someone left. I think that was our melee. Oh, I haven't played Call of Cthulhu. No. It sounds fun, though. I kinda wish I could play it.
3 minutes remain.
Done. Evacuate the area at once.
But I don't think too many of my friends are into the Lovecraftian thing. I am, again, very interested in it. It sounds like a fun, probably a fun one-shot to do. If, well, at least for an introduction to it.
Suit you wish to pilot.
They won't get me this time. Use caution. Stun. Hostile down. Try this on.
Usually, I have 2 different DMs that I usually play with. Well, one of my friends who DMs usually likes to go with a more traditional fantasy setting for his D&D campaign. The other one, I believe, prefers to go with a more futuristic setting. I haven't played too many one-shots now that I think about it. Like, my DMs, whenever they DM for a while. Like, you usually have multiple sessions. I think in high school, with one of my DMs, we attempted to pull off a session for an entire year. But we kind of dropped it after summer hit. I mean, me personally, do sometimes prefer the more futuristic settings, because then there is a lot more homebrew. But it also means there's a lot more work for the DM. So I do take that into consideration most of the time. Oh, I whiffed that really bad. I thought there was gonna be somebody there. Yeah, personally, if I ever do DMing, I personally feel like one-shots are probably gonna be my preferred way of doing it, because I did have a ton of ideas of my own that I do want to try to implement. It's just that I don't really know how I would in a larger campaign. So I've been thinking that if I were to DM, one shot would be my thing. But, of course, whenever it comes to DMing, most of your ideas are probably also going to be stolen from other IPs. So the references are always fun to have. Wait, we managed to defend somehow? What the hell? Nope, we're not defending that defuse. I have tried porting other games to tabletop, but that is quite a bit of work, and also a lot of effort trying to, do something like take an FPS and port its ideas, its world, its concepts onto tabletop. I mean, having a program like Roll20 certainly helps, but there's so much work to do. I tried doing it with Titanfall before. My god, I could not figure out how to get I could not figure out how to get aerial mobility or wall running into it, but there were certainly some ideas. Nor how a turn would play either. Well, true, if they don't know anything, if they don't know, then they don't need to know. If it's stolen, it doesn't matter if they don't know anything. I think for one of my friend's latest campaigns, he's trying to do a space-based campaign where he basically just steals ideas. Well, lore-wise, he steals a ton of things from Gundam. Mechanics-wise, he steals a ton of things from, I believe, FTL and Children of a Dead Earth. But he also steals a ton of lore from both of those as well, and is trying to incorporate them into his campaign right now. I have no clue how that's gonna play out. I did help him attempt to figure out how ship-based one-dimensional turn combat would look like. I mean, it certainly needs some improvement, because with the way he designed it, there were a ton of loopholes that luckily we did play test through. But I think he still needs to work out a ton of kinks and a ton of mechanics and loopholes the players can abuse here and there, since it is, of course, homebrew and very open. It is very much like a sandbox. You kind of need to become like a word lawyer.
Enemy sniper terminated. Redeploying.
Allied unit down.
Honestly, I am kind of tempted to make a character in his campaign, but sometimes I am a type of person who is very non-committal when it comes to campaigns, which can be annoying to work around for some DMs, depending on, well, how busy I am. But for me, honestly, most campaigns can get boring over time. Yeah, my DMs also aren't very strict with loopholes. If the players find a loophole, the DM the DM will probably find a loophole within their own campaign to abuse to fight back against the players in a relatively fair way, which I do really like. It's just kind of this back and forth, which I find really fun.
Activating my G maneuver.
Use
If we find a loophole, we are kind of free to abuse it to an extent, which is what I really like out of my DM.
enemy unit destroyed.
Yes. Alright. I think one of my DMs told me this one story. Apparently somehow the players managed to find a loophole in a fantasy setting to somehow start a canned pear factory and make bank out of that. And I don't know how they managed to do that, but I think like two of them were artificers and they somehow found loopholes within the base game's mechanic to attempt that.
The enemy has placed a mega charge.
Oh shit, he's down there. I'm pretty sure I've had friends who's also built full monopolies and controlled the economy in some other campaigns before. But that requires a ton of effort to do. And of course it's kind of busted in some cases.
Enemy unit destroyed.
That guy wasn't there, I would have been able to get that gun tank.
Been destroyed. We have to disarm that mega charge.
Not let them succeed.
Well, that's GG.
We've been defeated.
It was still fun nonetheless. Oh, yeah, no, we have... Every time we pull off sessions, we always have, like, a group of players just doing their own things with one another, and somehow incorporating that into the world, which is really fun. And, of course, mini games that DMs comes up with is always fun, especially when it comes to gambling. My god, can that stuff get addictive. Speaking of mini games, I think we've once I think once, when we were playing Monopoly, we somehow managed to incorporate gambling into Monopoly along with stocks, which was oh boy, there were so many arguments over that. My god. But that was always fun. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. It was a fun stream this time around. I do plan on streaming some more on, I want to say Wednesday. Probably around the same time as today. But it was very nice to, come back to this game. Probably do it a couple more times over the coming months. But, I honestly don't know what I'm gonna stream on Wednesday, so that's gonna be a surprise. Anyways, thank you for coming, and I'll see you then. Bye.